well, it is 2025 and women are becoming more and more equal to men all the time, and so now we can just do away with all of this traditionalist, outdated nonsense like men paying for the bills and paying for dates, and now we can just do 50-50 the way that God intended. All right, not really. This is, in many ways, the way that society has been heading, and it is a problem. It is a big problem because men and women are not equal. And by that I don't mean that women are less than men or inferior to men or anything like that. I mean we are fundamentally different. We are fundamentally different, and it goes far beyond just skin deep differences. We are different to our core because we have different instinctual programming. A man has a masculine instinct, which is to provide and protect and lead, and a woman has a feminine instinct, which is essentially to be taken care of. It is to be cherished. It is to follow. It is to receive a man's care. Now, many men and women have instincts that are deeply suppressed. They're not in touch with this. They got a whole bunch of nonsense in their head that's causing them to not be in touch with these natural drives, but these drives are in all of us if we learn how to pay attention to them and we undo any wounding that's over top of them. And so this 50-50 thing, when a man and woman are splitting bills, and even worse, splitting dates in any kind of way, what that is doing is it is taking the man out of his role of being the provider for a woman, and it is taking the woman out of her role of being the receiver and being taken care of. And this decreases the polarity that is experienced, which decreases the level of connection and the level of attraction that both man and woman will feel for each other. Now, this is not to say that this is the only thing that a man is offering, right? This is just one small form of provision, this specific kind of financial provision, but it is a really important piece. When a man's instinct is fully online, he enjoys paying for his woman. He loves to take care of her in this way, assuming, of course, that the woman is grateful and receptive and respecting his lead. It's something that will feel good for him. When a man has been indoctrinated to believe that he shouldn't have to pay for everything, he might lead his woman at some point, not necessarily right away, but lead his woman into splitting costs, splitting bills, splitting dates. And a woman, if her feminine instinct is online, she will feel some level of anxiety. She might also feel some irritation. She might also experience a drop of attraction, but she will also should feel some level of anxiety. And this is completely natural. This is completely normal because this is her feminine instinct telling her, oh, something really big is wrong here. And what we're going to be talking about today is what that is, why a woman would experience that, and what to do about it. Hello, my name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams using feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into stepping up and cherishing you. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below. Hit the notification bell and be sure to like this video because I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you today. And if you would like help learning how to shift out of your unhealthy control patterns and into inspiring a man into taking care of you, then go below this video, open up the description. You'll see the links to all of my offers, and a great place to start is my free webinar at zachrohdecoaching.com. All right, with that out of the way, let's dive in here. So I am going through my book, Inspire His Devotion. It's a great book to get on Amazon by typing in my name if you do not have any of my books yet, or if you don't have this one. And I am just going through kind of point by point in different YouTube videos right now what can bring up anxiety in a woman that is activating her feminine instinct to warn her that there is a problem in the dynamic in some way. So we're on the 50-50 one. I didn't write much. It's just one sentence. A man who wants to go 50-50 on dates because it communicates that he isn't interested in being her provider. Okay, so understand, your feminine instinct is always going to be warning you if you're not safe to fully follow a man, fully submit to a man, both energetically, also sexually, right? Because by submitting to a man in this way, you are putting yourself in potential harm. You're opening yourself up, not just to his leadership, but at least in the way that your body is responding to this, you're opening up to his genes, to his seed. And if you get impregnated by him, you're putting yourself in this really vulnerable position where you're going to be stuck not raising a child, but have a child inside you for 9 months and then raising a child afterwards, right? And you need a man to take care of you to make your life easier during that period and afterwards. A man who is providing for you, sheltering you, keeping you safe, making sure that you are okay. And if you submit to a man, and understand that your instinct doesn't know about birth control and any of this stuff, okay? It just knows, danger if I open myself to this man. We're going to keep it really simple. So if you open yourself to a man in that way, and he is not either capable or willing to fully provide for you, then what your instinct is telling you is, I am putting myself in danger. I might have to take care of this child or children and not be provided for. I will have to provide for myself. I'll have to use all these resources, all of this energy to provide for myself, and my child might not get enough nutrients, and they might die. And I might die as well, because he's not willing to be a provider. It can objectively be seen as a small thing, just like, hey, you know what? I've paid for the last 10 dates. How about you pay for this one? Or how about we split sometimes? It could be something that small. Or, how about you're in charge of paying for the groceries? But it's not a small thing to the feminine instinct, because it's communicating so much more. It's communicating that a man doesn't want to fully be the provider. And that says a lot. And that's saying, you know what, I'm potentially in danger here. Women are always getting accused by men of being making such a big deal out of small things. But when you understand the feminine instinct, when a man or a woman understands the feminine instinct, you'll realize they should be making a big deal about it, because of what the thing is, what it's communicating, right? You're not interested in fully being my provider. Well, that's a really big deal. To a woman, that's about the biggest deal a man could be communicating, right? It's right up there with cheating. It's right up there with abandoning her, because he's not interested in fully taking care of her. And many women can judge themselves as being selfish, stingy, not willing to be a full partner if she is not going 50-50 with a man, right? So imagine this. You might have experienced this. A man leads you to pay for a date or pay for groceries or pay for something or do 50-50 in some kind of way. And you don't really like the idea. You feel a little bit of anxiety, maybe a little bit of irritation, maybe a little bit of disconnection or loss of attraction, whatever you feel. You're like, I really don't like that. But then you start judging yourself, maybe. It's like, I shouldn't feel this way. It's not a big deal what he's asking, and he already does so much for me. Why shouldn't I do this? I don't want to be a gold digger. I don't want him to think that I'm a gold digger, so I'll just do this thing. When you do that, you are actually abandoning yourself. It's not that you need the financial provision. You might have a job. You might even make more money than a man does. It's not about that. You can take care of yourself, probably. Most women can. It's not about that. The issue is you need to be taken care of, because that is what your feminine instinct is dictating. It is saying to you, I need to be cherished. And so when a man communicates that he doesn't want to pay for everything, what he is communicating is, I don't want to fully cherish you. And now your need to be cherished is not being fully met. And worse, you're getting the signal that, what else might he not be willing to do for me? He is not fully willing to be my provider. Look, this doesn't make you a gold digger. This just makes you a woman. And it's perfectly natural and okay and normal to want to be fully taken care of in this way. So much of these videos, the reason that I make them is I want you to learn how to fully, 100% accept and love yourself. Women have such a hard time doing this. There's so much self-judgment for so many things. And it's this self-judgment and lack of self-acceptance that compels you into doing things that actually either depolarize the dynamic or enable your man to depolarize the dynamic. And if you follow a man's leadership and, okay, I'll pay for this stuff, whatever, you are enabling that depolarization of that dynamic. And it won't feel very good, but you do it just because, like, oh, I know, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be selfish. But when you realize that your value to a man is not coming from what you put into the relationship in that way, it's not what you're giving, you need to realize that it's your ability to receive. It's your level of gratitude that you have, your level of receptivity, your level of submission. And submission doesn't just mean following a man no matter what he says, right? If he's leading you to do something that's depolarizing the dynamic or hurting you in some way, you can't actually submit to that. If you feel bad and you do it anyway, you're actually complying. You're fawning. You're avoiding speaking up because you don't want to screw things up. You don't want to be abandoned. That's not submission. Submission should feel good. Submission is always a choice. Submission is a yes. It's like, yes, I will follow your leadership because I respect and trust you. Not, I'll follow your leadership because, I don't want to be seen as a gold digger. I don't want to be seen as selfish. So it's important when you feel these feelings that come up for you, it's important to honor them. It's important to share what's coming up for you. And this is why, like in my academy program and really in all of my offers, my women's dating course and all of my books and, in my free group and everywhere, the most important thing that we teach is learn how to communicate what is coming up for you. Learn how to wear your heart on your sleeve. You're going to have all these big feelings that are coming up. Anxiety, anger, sadness, shame, blah, blah, blah. Some of it's from wounding. Some of it's from instinct. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. You got all these feelings. Women are feeling beings. And women have been so deeply conditioned to suppress those feelings. Either to not even feel them in many cases, or at least not communicate them. And then when you do communicate them, you're actually not communicating feelings, you're actually communicating in judgments. Right? And I gave an example on an earlier video saying like, I feel unsafe right now, which isn't a feeling, right? That's a judgment. Anxiety is a feeling, fear is a feeling, terror is a feeling, unsafe is not a feeling. So the big thing that women are doing, like women do judge, they do go into your masculine energy, you do like ask a whole bunch of questions like Sherlock Holmes investigating, all of that is a form of leading and all of that is not receptivity, all of that's unconsciously disrespectful. I'm not saying you're doing it on purpose, but it does happen. So communicating in that way, all of those are problems, but the biggest problem that we see, like with my clients, is not communicating at all. It's feeling something and staying silent about it because you're judging yourself or because you're afraid of how a man's going to respond. So take a moment and really imagine your future self, this beautiful feminine self where whenever you feel anything, doesn't matter if it's something small, doesn't matter if it's something that right now you just think is a silly, dumb feeling, whatever you feel, you're sharing it. You're sharing it, you're opening up your heart, you're asking for help, and you're not ashamed to do so. All of your feelings are beautiful. All of your feelings are important. All of your feelings are a very important, big part of who you are as a woman. And so the more that you hide who you are in the relationship, the more that you are dishonoring your heart, the more that you are stepping out of your self-worth, and the more that you're actually demotivating a man from giving you everything that you need and deserve. Sometimes your feelings will be pointing towards something that's actually not a problem in some kind of way. And a big part of what we're doing in the academy is actually helping women understand the difference. But regardless of whether it's stemming from something that's actually a wound or that it's actually your instinct, a real problem, it's important to share. It is so important to share because this is how you honor yourself as a woman instead of hiding yourself, instead of putting yourself in a little box and stifling yourself and judging yourself because you're afraid of being a gold digger, you're afraid of being selfish, you're afraid of a man also thinking that you're selfish, thinking that you're a gold digger, thinking that you're not grateful. Once you learn that your feminine gifts are completely different, this can start to change. When you learn that your feminine instinct is creating these feelings, most of the time these feelings are coming from your feminine instinct, and it's warning you that these things are a problem in the relationship, it becomes easier to share what's coming up for you. And if you would like help learning how to make these shifts, learning how to communicate, learning how to open up, learning how to shift into your self-worth, learning how to inspire a man into wanting to fully provide and fully take care of you, then go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the links to all of my offers. And if you like actual hands-on support, then go to thedreamrelationship.com. That's our academy program. And then click the button to book a call with me. We'll talk all about what's going on in your love life. We'll figure out what the problem is. We'll talk about your control patterns. We'll talk about how to shift out of them. And we'll see if our program is right for you. And if it is, we'll talk all about it. And then you can decide whether you'd like to work with us. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And if that is you, I will see you on the call. Bye now.